reveal themselves or anything. So let's go back to that again. We'll finish up. The biggest problem for Dershowitz is the people who have to do the job. And as long as we're in the ivory tower, we make all these decisions. It's like, well, yeah, I mean, someone's got to torture, fine. And we'll give them some tests, and they'll pass the test, and they'll do it. That's not what's at stake. There are so many parameters that are at stake in this that we owe it ourselves to look at all of them. Now, if we really need torturers, guess what? We have snipers in the military. If we need torturers, we have interrogators in the military. If we need torturers, if it's a necessary evil, then we need to accept it, and hopefully Dershowitz is right, we do it in the most open legal framework we can. But we do cross a boundary. He acknowledges that. We cross a boundary. And we're going to have to learn to live with that.
So since incidents like Guantanamo Bay, do we still...
I don't know what we do at Gitmo. I mean, I'm talking about...
Talking about Abu Ghraib.
Yeah. Yeah, and even places that we don't talk about.
I wasn't sure if we still...
Gitmo is still...
It's a holding place for the most part, yeah.
Abu Ghraib was when the atrocities were going on out there, the pictures that were leaked.
Given all of that, we're still okay with torture. Anybody volunteering?
I have no idea still.
Say again?
I have no idea still.
That's okay. The discussion is designed to provoke thought, and it will either provoke embracing it as a necessary evil or rejecting it as...
Really, you still need to be
I should have warned you, I'm sorry.
somewhat, not involved per se, but just like you were in the military at one point, and I'm saying like you have higher like opinion than us that were just in our like ivory tower, as you said. Like we don't have much experience on like political standpoint or you know just in general. I feel like
work
some
nuts and bolts of it. Yeah. The work nuts and bolts of it.
yeah, because yeah, we can say oh, it's fine, yeah, but to actually you know see it firsthand or just in general like have some kind of description of what it really involves.
Torture's torture. Go ahead, dear.
So,
Loud enough for me, okay.
I think torture is okay, but I think it's unacceptable. Like people will say it's unacceptable in our society. Like if someone dies in like a painful way, you can say that they were being tortured by the person that killed them. But if anyone was given the opportunity to have retribution for their loved one, I think we would all take that chance. Like if we could, you know, get payback like at the person that hurt like our loved ones, or you know, ask them why or whatever. I think everyone would do it.
That's funny that you say that because although I do agree, because if somebody were to hurt my family member, I'd want to hurt them most likely. But it's funny that you say that because it reminds me of like trials of Holocaust victims against Nazis, and they all say, like a bunch of them will say that they forgive them and they would wish the same torture on them. It's the weirdest thing.
That's it. Yeah, that's a great point. That's the difference between the ivory tower and life on the ground.
Right.
And there are many of them that they came to that conclusion.
Just some tortures are just so nasty that you won't.
You know, when the Allies finally discovered the concentration camps, Eisenhower, I think it was one at Birchau, he went into the town and he made all the Germans come out and walk through there.
Yep.
And that was kind of a procedure that was followed for all of them then. But, you know, many people, this was done undercover as well. Many people didn't know. They had ideas, they were pretty sure the final solution, etc. But they really didn't see it up close and personal. That's why I asked you during the capital punishment, should we have open executions? Should we have open torture? They were forced to go into the concentration camps, to look in the ovens, to see these emaciated people. Because there is a group responsibility. That's why I said, you know, if someone tortures, that's us. I mean, we're not getting our hands dirty. We can kind of put enough distance and say, yeah, I get it, but but maybe there's more to it than that. Go ahead.
And also not to like stray from the topic or anything, and like,
It's okay.
I know I keep going back to the Holocaust, but I'm saying like if you ever watched Boys Strike Pajamas, like it's easy for just a stranger to go through all of this, and then he had his son die. Sorry, spoiler alert. I hope you guys don't saw it. But his son died in a concentration camp, the son of a Nazi, and you can see like a transition between a stranger going through that type of torture and then having your own blood. It's like, if you could do that to someone else, would you be able to do it to someone you actually know? Or,
Sure. Yeah.
And then I think that's where it comes in, like how you said they forgave them, like not wanting the Nazis to experience the pain that they went through. But from the outside, like if you hear about that, you're like, oh my gosh, like they deserve what they did, like versus actually experiencing that. And like when you're saying the 9/11 victims, like they should decide what happened to the torturers. You said that earlier.
That was the argument that was made. I mean, I kind of accept it. I said, I understand exactly what you're saying.
I mean, like, unfortunately, you can't decide, like, what would have happened, but, like, from the outside world, like, I think it's a different feeling than, like, versus the victim, so.
It is, absolutely right.
It's like the Bosnian genocide, it's like, from Bosnian Serbians. I'm Bosnian, and, like, I forgive, but I never forget. Like, it hurts, like, always, and it's like a hard topic to discuss.
Are you talking about 1999?
Like 1992 to 1995, around there.
From Bosnia or Serbia?
Actually,
Kosovo, okay. Yeah, that's really complicated too. It went back to a Serbian national who assassinated Prince Ferdinand and got everybody into World War I. Really, he didn't do it, the Germans did. They laid a price on Kosovo, but it's still going on. It's very difficult to deal with.
Also, just like on that topic of, that's why I always say, like, unless you go through it, you don't really have like that much of a say. I mean, you do, but just in general, because like when we were talking about bringing refugees over, there's a lot of people that say, no, we don't need that problem and all this other things, but like if you actually know some of the struggles of a refugee and like just to have that personal experience and to see it up close, you would never wish that on someone.
Yeah.
You want everything like in your power to help, is what I'm saying. Torture-wise and just any general.
Like you were saying earlier, like there was a lot of people forgave the Nazis, like for what they went through. For me, like if someone inflicted harm towards my family, I really want them to hurt, but I wouldn't never go through with it because like I know I'd be hurt in the process as well. I'd be like letting a piece of me be just like them and do what they did to what my family. So like
You really know yourself that way?
yeah, because I've had a similar experience with it. Because I've had someone inflict harm to my family before, and as much as I wanted to hurt them and make them feel pain, I knew that's not the answer because it would hurt me as well. Like, I don't know how to explain that.
I know. Gandhi said if you desire to take a life, you should dig 2 graves. One for them and one for you. If you're in my intro class, we'll talk about Friedrich Nietzsche. Nietzsche's got a famous statement he makes. He says, when you look into the abyss, you know what the abyss is? The abyss is a bottomless pit, and it's dark down there. He says, when you look into the abyss looks back at you. So we look at what we're talking about the abyss here, torture. And the horrors that, and what does it mean, even justifiable to, because you've never heard someone scream when you've made them scream. And that's the abyss that Nietzsche's talking about. Well, sometimes you can justify looking into the abyss. We dropped 2 atomic bombs on Japan to save 4 million lives. We took 136,000 civilians. We looked in the abyss, and the abyss looked back at us, and we dropped 2 bombs. Other times we look into the abyss, and it freaks us right out, and we say, okay, we're not looking into the abyss anymore. We're not going to go down that road. And that's what ethics is about, people. And I hope you forgive me for this, but I don't know how to do this class without being genuine and real. And I, for not warning you, but that's built into the program like everything else that I do, people. Ethics is real. These are real issues that people have to deal with, and they're important because lives are at stake. And if we don't deal with them, then we become, I think, just, false citizens in a sense that we don't deal with life's issues. These are our issues, even if someone else does it in our name. So any questions about, how many of you are still okay with the torture that we talked about? Getting right down to the, okay, that's cool. It wasn't meant to discourage you, I just wanted you to face it, to look into the abyss and see what we're really talking about. Same thing when I said you open the blueprint of life, boy, talk about gambling. That freaks me right out, frankly. I told you I'd only share my opinion twice with you. One is embryonic stem cell research, and the other is executing the innocent. That just freaks me right out, to kill an innocent person, knowingly. Anyway, so any questions for me? So this is nuts and bolts. Now, one more minute. I didn't bring up the last one from Dershowitz, and these are all real clear. I mean, he's a really easy writer. What he's doing in this, he's just saying how to make torture an option. Fifth Amendment privileges against self-incrimination, ticking time bomb case, escalating the level of torture, and how we go about this until we get what hopefully will work for us. And there's always that chance we're going to do it to an innocent person, or we're going to kill them before we get the information they do have, and 100,000 people are going to die anyway. There's a risk in life. Life is always risky. There's no way to avoid it. So nuts and bolts today on Dershowitz. He's not that hard. Nuts and bolts on just war theory. And war and terrorism. Someone's already gotten the war and terrorism. Let me say this. I'll give you a heads up. Okay, spoiler alert. Someone's already answered the question. Said, I don't see why I got it wrong. I'm not going to tell you what the question is. You need to know the difference between war and terrorism. They're both violent. They don't apply the same way. In one way, terrorism and violence and war is the same. When terrorists attack a military target, when they attack a civilian target, that is not war. It is terror, and it is violent for a purpose, okay? Other than that, if you came in late, let me know you're here. I'll mark you present. I will see you next week. I love this topic.